Hello everyone, welcome to Driving Outside. Today's video is going to be a little different as it will include a time-lapse of a sunset and much less driving, though I will still have some of my photos sprinkled throughout. It starts with just a few minutes of a drive from the Alpine Visitor Center at the top of Rocky Mountain National Park. Getting this sunset was actually a complete accident because we were late coming up from another drive on the other side of the mountains and just happened to be here at the right time. I will go into more detail about Rocky Mountain National Park and show some of the drives throughout in some of my videos that are coming soon. It had rained a little bit earlier and the clouds were still lingering like poofy cotton candy on the peaks. The clouds were getting very colorful very quickly, and there are quite a few pull-off viewpoints that were perfect. Sometimes a person is good for scale, as in this photograph, but please remember to always stay on the trail and do not destroy the fragile landscape that surrounds you. Every footprint leaves its mark on an area that has a very short growing season to begin with. Be respectful of nature or it will cease to exist. Fun fact, if you are planning to take sunset pictures at roughly 12,000 feet, make sure you bring a windbreaker and extra layers of clothing. As soon as the sun starts going down, it gets in the 40s or lower very quickly. Almost every time I have come to the park, there is a vast temperature change depending on the elevation and time of day. The temperatures range from the low 40s to upper 70s or 80s, so make sure to prepare accordingly. The combined wind makes the temperature even colder as you are above the tree line with no cover. If you don't bring adequate clothing, you will either have to suffer through it or buy a windbreaker for upwards of $150 at the visitor center. The pull-off shown here is one of my favorites because of the sweeping vistas in every direction of the surrounding mountains. After parking, it was quite easy to then set up the two GoPro cameras to do the time-lapse of the sunset and the clouds. It was interesting to me how many of the people that were also stopped only had their cameras pointed into the sun. This is what everything else looked like while people were blinding themselves in one direction that had relatively little clouds. So don't forget to look around you next time you are enjoying the sunset, for it may not be the most beautiful scenery that surrounds you. In this photo, I ended up taking a silhouette of the mountain once the sun had gotten very close to going down completely. The sky turned a lovely shade of orange. It ended up taking me longer than I had anticipated to combine these three photos as they weren't quite the same height. I ended up having to create parts of the photo that weren't there to begin with. I hope you enjoyed this colorful snippet of video. If you have a comment or suggestion on the content, or you have a drive you would like to see done, I would welcome those comments below. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Stay tuned for more of my mountain adventures. Thanks and stay safe.